All right, lovely people. Hi. So, as I return back to my destination, Justice, good evening. I just want to put out these out there, you know, as the topic suggests, and as I have also made clear in my previous post. I just want to reiterate this point that these fights on Galamsey, it is not to be treated lightly. All right. Let us not treat it lightly. Degradation of the environment. You see, I'm driving back to school. You look at all these roads. These people consciously plant these trees. All these trees that you see here, they were consciously planted. These are not wildlife. They were consciously and deliberately planted. All right? And anytime they cut them down, they replant them. And behind these shrubs, behind all these things we see as forest, there are communities behind them. Okay, there are communities behind them. When the weather starts changing and it gets dry, you will see the buildings and you see the houses and you see the offices. But these things were done consciously. These things were done with a deliberate mindset. Unfortunately, we have destroyed ours. And in fact, even if you have some of these trees in your own house, to cut them down, you need permission from your county. You need to go and take a permission from your county in order to cut down trees that are even located in your own house. You cannot just get up and be cutting anything. Is that okay? And it's unfortunate we have allowed both foreigners and locals to destroy our vegetation and our water bodies. And it has now gotten to a point where everyone is talking about it. And it's just unfortunate. These things started way, way back. All right? It started way, way back. But it has gotten to its peak now. And look, I was talking to a friend this afternoon, and he made a very serious point that I want to bring your attention to. Those of us who are outside the country, Ghana, or outside the continent of Africa, when we talk about destruction of the continent, right? Think deeply. You think you are here, so it doesn't affect you. Somebody says, what does the Galamsey menace concern those of us who are outside? That all of us are talking about it. Listen carefully. You see, Ibrahim, you see that we are here, right? We all go to the African shops to buy food from time to time. So imagine the rivers have been contaminated with all kind of chemicals, cyanide, mercury, and all those things. They will catch fishes from those same rivers and roast them dry, bring them to the US, to the UK, to Germany for us to buy. Think about it. The whole cycle seems like it ends in your home country. It ends in Ghana. The Galamsey menace ends in Ghana. But trust me, it goes beyond that. You are in the US. They will package the food. Do you know the kind of water they are using to prepare that gari? Do you know the kind of water from which that fish was catch? Do you know how that food that you are eating, you think you are in the US, you are in the UK, you are in Canada, you are in Germany, so you are okay? No, you don't know how those things were processed and how you have them. The yam that they are bringing, the maize, the whatever, all the produce that they are bringing, all the African foods that we love, came from these same sources, these same neighborhoods, these same communities. The president, thinking that he is shielded. You see, that fish that contains mercury, the fish that contains cyanide. The local people will catch that same fish from the same polluted river, process it, and the president's wife will go and buy it from the agboboloshi and for the market woman, and you use it for food for you. And maybe, unfortunately, you react to those same chemicals and something happens to you as a human being. So you sit in your high offices, you sit in your positions as ministers or whoever you are, and the pastor who thinks it doesn't affect him, as for me, I'll prove it. No, prayer cannot take away mercury from the fish. Your wife will go and buy it, your housemaid will go and buy it. And you see, we love driving. In Africa, when you are driving on the highway, you see these villagers having all their farm produce by the roadside, right? They have mushroom, they have all kind of farm produce by the roadside. You stop, you pay for it, you buy it. Oh, this is organic. This is coming from the farm itself. I've bought organic. The organic has already been contaminated with the same water that has been contaminated already. So indirectly or directly, you are all affected. We are all affected. Is that okay? So don't let us take this fight, these demonstrations, this talk about keeping our environment as if it is just a one-way thing. No. Think deeper than that. Beyond my community. How does this affect me? Yes, the same crops, the same produce. So if these communities do not have access to good water bodies to produce the same foods that we are consuming in the cities, how very soon we are going to have drought. We are going to have problem with food. You understand? These same farmers will have to invest into expensive mechanized farming, which will then increase the cost of food, which you, the one in the city who thinks you are not affected by the menace, will go and buy their same food. And then you'll be complaining, food prices are high. Why? Yes, it is because this same farmer wants you to have a good food or good produce to eat. Therefore, he or she has to invest heavily. And by that investment, he transfers the cost to you, the buyer. So nobody, and I mean no one, is exempted from this menace. No one. We are all connected in one way or the other. Whether you are a pastor, whether you are a minister, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a doctor, whether you are a nurse, whether you are an engineer or whoever you think you are. In fact, even we the foreigners, those who think they have traveled out so they are not affected. No, you are. Your family people are affected. You will travel down. Oh, I want to go and eat fufu and goat soup. Do you know the water that was used to prepare that fufu and goat soup for you? Do you know the water that was used to prepare it? Do you know where the produce, the farm produce that were used, the fish, do you know the water it was cut from? You have no idea. Oh, as far as we buy our fish and our things from Cote d'Ivoire, we buy our things from Cameroon. Yes, there is pollution there too. So there is a ripple effect on all of us. Is that okay? Let us think in a global way. Let us think beyond just our community. The world goes beyond just where you are. That is why people in Accra are demonstrating. That is why everyone is talking about this. That is why professors are talking, because the professor's wife will go to the market and buy the same produce that have been contaminated and come and cook for him and his children. The children are not strong enough. Their systems are not developed enough. Their immune system is weak. Therefore, they will develop complications. And where does it lead us? Hospital. The hospital, the doctor has been sick for the past 3 days, so the doctor cannot come and even attend to you in the hospital. You go to the lab technician has been sick because he ate a food and he had food poisoning. So by the time you say, Jack, it comes back to the same thing we're talking about. Oh yeah, it's a cycle. Think about it carefully. Think about it carefully. Before you start jumping into conclusions and calling people names, before you start accusing people of taking bribes, before you start accusing people of instigating others against the sitting government, think about what you are doing. Yes. A lot goes into this whole thing. It is not just one person being affected. It's a whole community. It's a whole chain. It's a whole chain. In fact, even me, who is in the US, will be affected. Oh yes. I've told you already. All right. So let us talk about these things with devoid of emotions, devoid of political affiliations. Bring your intellectual discourse to play. Make sure everyone understands it. The imam is affected. Okay, the prophet, your prophet is affected. Oh yeah. Because Mercury doesn't know prophet. Mercury doesn't know the student. He doesn't know the pastor. He doesn't know the minister. He doesn't discriminate. Chemicals don't discriminate. Irrespective of who you are, you could be affected by them in one way or the other. Is that okay? Our women are in the churches praying for babies, all because of how some of these chemicals were injected into their system. It's affecting them. You are losing sleep because you have a chemical in your system that is affecting you. You are having tumors. You are having boils because there is a reaction, chemical reaction going on in your body. How did you even get that chemical reaction? The water that was used, that was so-called purified to give you that bottled water. You see, some of you say, oh, for me, I'll buy bottled water. Do you know the source of that water that was used? Because no one produces bottled water from the air. No, they don't produce from the skies. They use the same water bodies that we have, purify it, and they bottle it for you to buy. And through purification, we all know, we don't have state-of-the-art equipment to do these things. So some way, somehow, the impurities still get into these bottled waters. And you, the big man sitting in the office, taking bribe and saying that demonstrators have taken money from a political party. I heard Cheddar, I saw a video of Cheddar, and I was so sad. This guy says it's a political party that is, I'm sad. This same person is fighting to become the president. What will he do if he becomes president and these things are happening and you guys are demonstrating, or the youth decide that we are going to demonstrate? How will he take it? You already know his mindset. You already know his mindset. He has become a content creator, doing videos and trying to shade a political party. The same way you want to become president, the same political post you are looking for, you are now shading another person for the complaint the citizens are making. Who does that? Who does that? But you see, Cheddar has forgotten that upon all his money, the things he's assessing, you think you are taking the water from here. No, don't worry. Don't worry at all. The community, the mangoes you are eating, the fruits you think you are eating, they will be contaminated with the same chemicals people have complained about, that you think they've received or they have gone for money to demonstrate. Those fruits will be contaminated. Unless you want to import your fruits as well. And maybe Cheddar will import fruits from Dubai and you import everything. But the ones you can't import, if you don't eat it, your family members will eat it. Think about the cycle. Don't just get up and talk because you want a political post or you think you are above everybody. No. That shouldn't happen. And as intellectuals, let us reason beyond the politics. For once, think about the generations yet unborn. I'm sure if the forefathers before our generation messed up, I don't think we'll be here. I don't think we'll have. That is why they have taboos. They have all these kind of traditions protecting river bodies. They said, oh, this river, you don't cross it, you don't go on it, you don't do this. Most of those ones or those things were meant to protect the environment. Yeah, they were meant to protect the environment. Brown to the whole Yasi. Okay? They were meant to protect the environment. They will tell you, oh, when you are bathing, don't do this. You don't whistle. They don't want soapy water to enter your mouth. It's simple and short. That is a scientific understanding. So that is why I say if you are bathing, don't whistle, because if you whistle, a snake will appear or your mother will fall sick or something like that. And sometimes my father told me, in the olden days, they use whistle to either commit crimes or to, if let's say you want to communicate with one another in a village, they can use whistle. So if I whistle in a certain way, you will understand it and know whether it's a danger or there is something coming. And in order not to confuse the communication channels, that is why they say don't whistle. There are so many myths that were surrounding everything that we do as people. But now we have broken all, and it is free for all play all. Everybody does what they want. And yet we think, oh, for us, I'm in Dubai. Me, I am in Panama. I am shielded. For us, yes, we are not. One way or the other, we are all affected. Remember, one way or the other, we are all affected. I rest my case. Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy the weekend. And when you go to church to pray, tell your pastor to talk about Galamsey. Yes, tell your pastor to talk about Galamsey, for he is affected.